Alright, y'all. This is going to be my very first hunt I've ever hunted and gotten on film. I've hunted deer many years, taken a lot of nice deer, but it's going to be a first for me doing my own videoing. This video here was actually taken, not the first hunt, but I think the third hunt I went out and tried to fill this archery tag. It was September 9th on a Friday evening, and I was sitting here just watching the bucks and the does come out of the valley and come up to eat up top on top of the hill. We had a cold front moving in. I think it was that Saturday morning, maybe Friday night. And so I knew I wanted to be in the stands and watch for movement and everything. And it actually turned it out to be a pretty eventful weekend. As you can see here, I had quite a bit of deer movement pretty much all night Friday night. Seen the nice 4x4 younger buck though, and definitely wasn't on the hit list. And you can see a couple little bucks sparring there and playing around. But that was pretty much the end of that night, and didn't really see much else. It got pretty dark here on me. I called it a night. Going into Saturday morning here. Actually, this was Saturday night. I did some scouting in the morning. Found a nice 5x5 mule deer that I really wanted, but he ended up not being in a spot I can make a move on him. So that's kind of all I did all day, was look around and scouted. Decided to sit back in my stand again that night. This happened to be the first deer that I seen come up out of the valley and up on top. And I've seen some more does and stuff like that, but not a whole lot. And then next thing I know, I take a look off to my left here, because I'm facing the valley, and this buck come from about 150, 200 yards away, come out of the valley, across the fence, and come directly down the sunflowers, walking straight at me. And I realized that this was a buck that I didn't really necessarily want to shoot. A nice buck. He's a great 5x4. He's got some extra mass between his G2 and G3, and so he's a solid deer. I just decided that I wasn't really sure if I wanted to take him. Well, as he continued to walk right down the field straight at me, I decided that, well, this is going to be my first buck on film. Be a first archery buck. I got to thinking, you know, if he broke 30 yards, he'd be an awesome deer for those first two things. So I sat and I watched him, and he kept coming closer, and he kept coming closer. Well, as he kept coming down the rows and kept coming towards me, I was watching a bunch of does and a bunch of different bucks that were around me, a bunch of smaller and younger ones, and I had my binoculars up and down off the shelf, looking constantly, you know, making sure that the big one I was after hadn't walked into the field. And I ended up having a mistake right here, because instead of putting them back on the shelf, I put them in my lap. And right there, my heart just sunk. He came all the way to 29 yards, and the binoculars fell. This is day 3, Sunday afternoon, about an hour after I got in the stand. First deer I see that night. I knew he was in the area. I had trail camera pictures of him that morning. He ended up walking up the valley from a different spot of where I didn't think he was going to come out of. Came up from my right, and right there at 75 yards is the first time I seen him in person. And I couldn't believe it. I started to shake. I was shaking so bad. I can't believe when he gets below me here that, you know, I thought for sure he was going to hear me, because the whole stand had to have been shaking and rattling. So I'm freaking out, trying to get stuff closed up, like the shades on the windows, trying to get the window open that I want to shoot out of, everything ready to go, making sure I got him on film. And I'm just freaking out, thinking he's going to see me moving, or he's going to bust any second and just be gone. With him quartering to me there, I didn't want to take that shot. He was about 30 yards there. He pushes that little buck out of the way. He turns to go back to eat some more grass out of this edge here. And right there's my perfect opportunity.
Holy shit. I just shot my number 1 buck. That was on the hit list this year. I just smoked him in the pump. He was gushing blood as he ran away.
Hopefully y'all enjoyed this as much as I did filming it. Here he is in all his glory. Like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be posting a lot more.